Hi, FlossTube friends. This is Tina Frazier coming to you from Columbus, Ohio, with my cats playing with toys in the background. It is Wednesday, January 4th, at approximately 10 p.m. Eastern Time, coming to you today with attempt number 8 at trying to get this video started and get this video recorded for you tonight. It's been a little rough today. Actually, it's been kind of a strange last few days, starting off the new year in 2023. Hopefully your new year's been going really good. Mine's generally been going good, but there's been some bumps in my road, including my really bad haircut. So you see here, like this side, you know, you can't see my ear. This side, you can see my ear. The hairstylist where I got it cut at Great Clips. Normally they're pretty good, but she didn't listen to me. So if you look really here, if you look over here, right here, this side is longer than this side. So yeah, bad haircut on Monday. Not a great way to start. Yesterday when I ordered lunch at work, after figuring out that I'd missed the cafeteria window to go eat in the cafeteria and grab food that I didn't bring with me from home, it was the first work day in the office yesterday. I ordered food with the drink. I got the straw, but I didn't get the drink. So I had to call back up. They gave me the refund for the drink, but yeah, I was really kind of hoping for that drink. It was just tea, but I was really kind of hoping for that drink with my lunch yesterday. We had a nice little quick spur of the moment visit from my niece and her fiance down in West Virginia. She had a doctor's appointment this morning, and he had a family member that's in the hospital up here in Columbus. So he came up earlier in the day, and she came up after work last night, and they stayed at our house overnight. So they could both go to her doctor appointment this morning before we headed out to work. So that was a nice little visit. I had attempted to do this video Sunday. I wanted to do this video Sunday. Sunday kind of got away from me, and by the time I was getting ready to sit down and start, it was almost midnight, and I was kind of really tired, didn't want to do it. So I was going to do it Monday on my day off for the holiday. Didn't happen Monday either. Monday night, I came downstairs to film the video, and about 9:30, I hopped onto Facebook to check something before I started the video and saw all the messages and everything praying for Damar Hamlin. If you're a fan of any kind of football, I'm not really a football fan, definitely not a pro football fan. I don't watch football. I don't really care for football. It's not really my sport. I got down into the rabbit hole trying to figure out why everybody was praying for Damar Hamlin, and saw what I needed to see, and was really kind of thrown off kilter just watching the events unfold from the game down in Cincinnati, the football game in Cincinnati between Cincinnati and Buffalo. And it just put me kind of off and not really wanting to record. Didn't record Monday night. Yet last night my niece was here, so I didn't get a chance to record last night either, so I'm doing it tonight. This is number 8, I believe. Try number 8 to record this for you. So, welcome to my channel. This is my FlossTube channel where I talk about cross stitch. FlossTube is a subset of YouTube where creators and content makers of videos for you talk about their love of the craft of cross stitching. And I am no different, but you know, some of us have other interests as well that we talk about. I also like diamond painting. I'm into other crafts. I'm very crafty, and I like video games and board games and roller derby and ghost hunting and all kinds of other stuff like that. So you might hear a little bit of that on my channel. You might see some of my older videos have a kind of a mixture of a little bit of stuff. But if you're new here, that kind of helps explain a little bit about my channel. I've been cross-stitching since my freshman year in college back in 1989. A couple of dorm mates on my floor, one snowy Saturday morning, I wandered over to their room to kind of see what they were doing and if they wanted to go to lunch. And they were sitting on their bed stitching. And I was like, well, what's that? So one of them sat me down with, some thread and a couple of little small pieces of fabric and a needle, and she kind of taught me the basic. This is a cross stitch. This is what, how you read your pattern, blah, 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 blah. So after we went to lunch, I went over to the bookstore, got my first pattern. It was the college mascot. They had a little cross stitch kit there. And so I started my foray into cross stitch back in the winter of 1989. I was a freshman in college. I graduated from high school that year. So, yeah, I've been cross-stitching for quite a while. And anyway, so if you're new here, thank you very much for stopping by. Hopefully you'll find something here on my channel that will encourage you to come back and that will enable you to maybe try something new if you haven't stitched before, or to give you some inspiration. I always like to share some tidbits and stuff that I come across in my crafting time, is tricks and tips and different accessories and everything that help me do my craft and enjoy what I love to do in my free time. So hopefully you'll find something here that you enjoy. If you're a returning watcher, thank you very much for stopping by. It's really great to see some really good friends. And to my new watchers, thank you. You're now a friend. So welcome, and hopefully you'll all find something new that you will be enabled in the new year to continue working on something, or maybe even to learn something new. I'm a little scatterbrained tonight. It's just, with everything going on, there's some bumps in my road for the new year. So this video may sound a little disjointed. I have notes, but I don't know if I'll even remember to look at my notes for this video. But if you're if you're a new subscriber, thank you very much for subscribing, and thank you for determining that what I have to offer is valuable enough that you wish to continue watching. If you're a returning subscriber and a longtime subscriber, thank you very much for being such a good friend and for always coming back and for being involved. But if you're a watcher and haven't yet subscribed, I encourage you to click the subscription button below and to also click the notification bell button so you'll be notified when I upload new content. I've been trying to upload new content about every 2 weeks or so, give or take. Sometimes it's been more like every week. Sometimes it's been more like 3 weeks. But I've been trying to do this at least every 2 weeks or so that way they're not so long. But this is going to be a little long. I'll warn you now, because I have a lot to talk about, a lot to get off my mind. And yeah, where's the time? Oh, there. Okay. Anyway, so as I said, click the notification button below so you'll be notified when I upload new content, when I do. So that being said, take this time right now to get yourself something to drink, something to snack on if you so choose, a cross-stitch project, a crafting project, a book, whatever you want to do. Something to throw at your TV monitor because you're sick of listening to me. I don't know. But anyway, just don't throw anything hard that'll crack it or break it, because I don't want to be responsible for that. But anyway, sit back, relax, enjoy the video. This might be a kind of a bit of a long one because I have some stuff I want to talk about that may take me a little bit. So as I said, this is my channel where I talk mostly about cross stitch. This is a cross stitch video, and I'm going to give you some updates tonight. So some of the things I'm going to talk about, I'm going to show you a little bit of Christmassy haul that I got around Christmas, and some stuff that I bought myself because I didn't get it for Christmas. I'm going to share some 2022 project updates from the last 2 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks of 2022, including I have 2 finishes to share with you tonight. Not fully finishes, but 2 finishes tonight. One of them is a start and a finish. Actually, both of them. No, one of them is a start and a finish. The other one's just a really old finish that I found. Then I'm gonna give a 2022 wrap up where I'm gonna share some stats that I think I've nailed down for 2022, including my first ever design of the StitchCon small that I took to StitchCon with me this year, and talk a little bit, just briefly go over the 3 retreats that I went to with the 3 retreats I went to with Mom. Then I'm going to go into a little bit of 2023 plans, talk about my stitching planner and some Facebook groups I'm in, you know, kind of some goals that I have for this year, and just show you just share with you what I'm going to be kind of working on throughout the coming year. Then I have some kind of ideas for some other video recordings to do for you. Oh, the kittens upstairs are chasing each other around the house. But anyway, so, you know, some of the things I'm considering are a whip parade. I haven't done a whip parade in a while. I have, coming into 2023, I determined at the end of the year, I'll get more into this a little bit, I had 67 whips. Technically 68. I was going to come into the new year with 68. The one that I really didn't know I had, that was tucked away in a bag with a bunch of other stuff, I finished on New Year's Eve. So coming into the new year, 2023, with 67 whips. Whips, W-I-P-S. Whips stand for works in progress. They're all your patterns and all your pieces that you have started stitching. You haven't finished them yet, but you've started stitching them. So that's a new term for you for the new year, whips. And then I'm going to be doing a thing about my stitch before I die. I'd like to stitch before I die. It's just a lot of the patterns in my stash that are things that I bought intending to stitch, but I definitely have stitch beyond life stitching acquisition beyond life expectancy. So yeah, I have a lot of stuff in my stash because there's technically 2 hobbies going on here. There's collecting of all the cross stitch supplies and patterns and fabric and floss and all that, and then there's actually stitching using all the supplies you collect. So 2 hobbies going on here relating to cross stitch. And I'm probably going to do a little bit of series of what's in my cross stitch toolbox. So there's Misty. Hey, yous. Hey, Misty. Anyway, she'll probably sit up there. She might jump down after a little bit. But anyway, I might do a kind of a segment on what's in my cross stitch toolbox. I have some stuff that some of you may not have ever heard of or seen, so that might be something interesting for you for this year. And I'll be talking about this in haul for a little bit, but I'm going to be trying out kind of a new to me craft. I think I did it once before, maybe twice before, very, very shortly, but it's been more than 10 years since I've tried it. And because of a subscription to a magazine I have, I've been very interested in the last 4 or 5 months of giving it a shot again. So I have purchased a few things to get me started in this new crafting venture. So I'll be talking to you a little bit about that. And I'll also be going into a giveaway at the end of my video. So that being said, hopefully you'll stick around a little bit and you'll get some inspiration and some stuff. So I encourage you now at this point, if you haven't already, to grab something to drink, grab a snack, grab your stitching, grab a craft, grab a diamond painting, whatever you want to do to stitch with me and to visit with me today. Just go ahead and grab it because we are going to get started. I'm 15 minutes in, haven't even gotten started with my stuff yet. So the first thing I'm going to talk to you today is Christmassy haul. So before I get into Christmassy haul, though, let me talk to you a little bit about my holidays. So I last came to you about 2.5 to 3 weeks ago, and it wasn't yet Christmas. We had a really lovely Christmas. It was just my mom, my husband, and I here at home, and we had a really great Christmas. It was really good for the for the three of us. And we got lots of stuff. We had fun. That weekend, we had an ice storm come in on the 23rd into the 24th. No, the 22nd. Well, it was either the 22nd, the 22nd or the 23rd. Through the 24th, it dropped some snow, several inches of blowing and drifting snow, but it was frigidly cold. We had wind chills at about 35 below zero. Most of Christmas weekend, it was really cold. Our power didn't go out, which is really good, but we had our generator and everything ready to go. My husband had ordered a snowblower about 3 weeks ago because he didn't want to be out shoveling snow in the frigid cold. So he ordered a snowblower. We got that in. He had the chance to try it the day after Christmas, on Monday, because we both had that Monday off. So he went out and snowblowed everything on Monday so we could get out in the car because it had started to warm up Christmas Day into the 26th. But we had probably about 4 to 6 inches of snow, but it was blowing and drifting. We had like 2-foot drifts in places because it was blowing so hard. But yeah, we had negative 35, negative 30 degree wind chills. Here in Columbus, it was really cold. But luckily, we didn't lose power, so that was great. We had our generator ready to go just in case, but my husband was able to use the snowblower, so that he enjoyed that a lot. It was great. It made normally like a, say 2-hour thing. We have a really long driveway that you could park 10 cars in. Made probably like a 2-hour, give or take, job, about 20 minutes, 20, 30 minutes. So that was really nice. Our New Year's Eve, we also just kind of spent home together, the three of us. We sat in the living room with some bubbly and some snacks after the dinner we had, and we watched the ball drop from New York, and had some bubbly at midnight, and kind of hung out, watched some TV, finished up our bubbly, and we went to bed, and it was nice. New Year's Day was just kind of laid back and relaxed. We had our pork and our sauerkraut and our cornbread and our black-eyed peas for dinner, and it was just nice. And then my husband and I both had the second off, so we stayed home, just kind of did not much of anything, and it was nice. I worked from home last week between Christmas and New Year. I was off the week before Christmas. Got a you can see this right here. It's healing up really nice, but it was much bigger and it looked a little more angry than it does now. But I burned myself baking cookies the week before Christmas. I just barely touched the edge of my arm on the corner of the cookie sheet. On the corner lip of the cookie sheet. But yeah, I got a burn from baking cookies. And yeah, we had a very nice holiday week. Hopefully your holiday week was really nice. So now I'll get on to my Christmassy haul. So here's some of the stuff that I got from Christmas and some of the stuff that I got around Christmas that has nothing to do with Christmas. So the first thing I want to share with you this needs to go there. Nope. Interesting story about this. So, I had, about a month and a half ago, give or take, or so, I had ordered, my mom and I, project bags, Christmas project bags from GaRon Tottenbags. I'm trying to get some of the cat hair off of this. But I had ordered my mom and I matching project bags from GaRon Tottenbags. If you've watched any of my YouTube videos over the last couple of years, I have been a Grime Guard of the Month subscriber for GaRon Tottenbags. The December Grime Guard of the Month happened to be my last Grime Guard subscription. Because I have decided that I wanted to try something else with those funds this year. So instead of doing that, I have signed up for a fabric of the month from BeStitchMe. So I'm no longer going to be getting the grime guards from GaRon Tottenbags, but anyway, I had ordered project bags for my mom and I, matching project bags. So my mom and I got the same project bag, and we also got the matching notions pouch. I ordered us each one of these, and I had my husband wrap them for us for Christmas. So I have the project bag, the 2 project bags. So for the GaRon Tottenbags project bag of the month and grime guard of the month, they always do a drawing every month for their subscribers to as thank you for subscribing. They select winners every month. If you're a bag of the month subscription winner or a subscription person, you get the normally the big project bags. But you get the chance to win the notions pouch that matches it for the month. And then they send your winning to you in the mail with your subscription. If you're a grime guard of the month member, they'll send you actually the project bag, or a project bag to go with it. Well, last month, I think it was just luck, but there aren't many grime guard of the month subscribers. Their grime guards are really nice. I just probably have 30 of them, and I don't have that many projects where I keep them on Q-snaps. So I have a lot of grime guards. So I just decided, I kind of decided sometime mid to, like say maybe fall of last year, that I was going to make December my last subscription for the grime guard. Anyway, when they did their drawing for December, I won another project bag. So I have now 2 Christmassy GaRon Tottenbags Christmas bags. So these are both mine. I have a project in here that I was stitching on, and then this one I got at Christmas. It was wrapped under the tree for me and my mom. So I have two of these. It's really nice, and I'm going to be using them. So anyway, that was 2 things I got. What's in here? I have to make sure. Okay, all right, I can go over that. Oh. And they sent me the notions pouch. So I actually have 2 notions pouches as well. So yeah, they sent me the notions pouch to go with it. That was kind of a nice kind of goodbye win for me, since I'm no longer going to be getting theirs. I'm probably going to be ordering some more project bags from them though. But yeah, they just recently had an opening for their project bags subscriptions, but it closed within an hour. They had like 7 openings yesterday or Monday, and they have since closed. So anyway, if you're interested in the project bags, just go to Facebook and look for GaRon Tottenbags. It's Gary and Ronnie. They are going to be in the process of moving. They're moving from Florida to Alabama. So there may be some sort of delay in the shipping if you order anything from them, or even their subscriptions. But yeah, Gary and Ronnie, GaRon Tottenbags, they are moving. So just a heads up for that. Thank you, Gary and Ronnie. It's been really great getting your stuff. And thank you for these. This is really cute. All right. So one of the other things my mom, I had put on my Christmas list that I wanted John James Tapestry Petite needles in size 28. Those are my favorite go-to needles. And my mom, when she was at Cross My Heart, our local needle workshop, she was asking for the size 28 John James Petite tapestry needles. They didn't have any of the regular ones in stock, but they did have some gold-plated ones. So my mom got me 2 sets of the John James Tapestry Petite needles. So I have 6 gold needles to try out. These are my favorite go-to needles. I just really like the size. Any other size needle, like the normal tapestry needles that you get, like the 24 and the 26 count, they're too long. It's hard for me to stitch with the long needles, and I don't know why now. But I use the 28s for everything I stitch on. 14 count, 18 count, 16 count, 22 count, perforated paper, linen, even weave, 40 count. I always use the size 28s. These are my favorites, the John James Petites. I have some other ones to try. I have some boa needles. I'm probably going to do do something this year where I try out different needles. And I'd like to do a segment too where I pick a new tool to try and use it and see how I like it, give you some tips and stuff that I've found on using them. But yeah, so I'm probably going to be doing a thing this year also on using tools for cross stitch, using the tools. So that was kind of nice. If you've watched my if you watch the video installments that my mom and I did for the 12-day Mo sale, 12 days of Christmas thing, I will very quickly kind of show you a recap of that. So if you go to the Facebook group Mo's Sale, let me show you this. So it's actually Mo's Sale. If you look for Mo's Sale on Facebook, you will find their Facebook group. Every week, Mo will put up floss that they've dyed for the week up for grabs. And so they usually dye cotton and silk floss in various colors, and they'll put the hanks and the skeins up for sale. The skeins are 17.5 yards. The hanks, like this one, are 100 yards, and it's either silk or cotton. You can have your choice. And they have different colors that they dye every week, but they dye like, sets of all the colors for the week. And they might have 6 or 7 colorways that they've dyed. So they'll put them on their Facebook group on Saturday morning. And basically you just click on the picture of what you want, whether it be a hank or a skein, and you say me please. And they'll send you the invoice, you pay the invoice, and they'll ship out your floss. Really great thing. They're the ones that did the 12 Days of Christmas box that my mom and I have signed up for. I think they're still taking signups through Friday for the 12 Days box for this year. My mom and I have already signed up. So we did our first set of videos in 2021. That was the first time I bought mom one. I bought myself a box in 2020. And my mom kind of was half watching me open up my stuff, and she was a little jealous. So I ended up buying my mom one for 2021. I got her another one for 2022, and we're doing it again for 2023. So if you haven't already watched my video, we do the little 15-20 minute videos of opening the boxes, starting 12 days before Christmas and going all the way up to Christmas Eve. I know that that's typically not the 12 days of Christmas. 12 days of Christmas usually starts on the 25th, but we kind of like doing it up until Christmas. It kind of gets mom into the spirit and kind of gets me into the spirit, and that's just what we decided to do with ours. So this is the Mo Sale 12 Days of Christmas box. So you've already seen the Christmas green. This is a 100-yard hank of silk floss in a Christmas green color. Normally, they have the name written on the tag, but this doesn't have a name on the tag. This is just a really pretty Christmas green. Anyway, they're hanks. So this is a hank. You can see this one's 100 yards silk hank. Their hanks are always 100 yards. Their skeins are always about 17.5 yards. So depending on what you order, obviously the hanks and the silks are going to be a little more expensive than the cottons in the hanks and the skeins. So anyway, we also got a really pretty Christmas red. This one is also a 100-yard silk hank. We also got, Mom and I get, except for the Christmas red and Christmas green, all the floss that we got, Mom and I got different colors. So none of our colors were the same, and even some of our notions and everything that we got weren't the same color. So we could kind of easily tell them apart. Now this one is a 100-yard cotton hank, also from Mo Sale. And this one is in the colorway Cosmos. And that's how you can determine the color. They'll be handwritten on the labels. We also, through opening the 12 Days of Christmas, we got 4 spools each of one-stranded silk floss. So this color is 926. This color is not marked, but it's an off-white, probably a crew. This one is also not marked, but it's kind of a brown. And this one is also maybe a taupe or a tan. This one is similar to DMC 3032. So we got the four spools of one-stranded silk. And the one-stranded silk is about equivalent to about 1.5 strands of DMC floss. So you would use this a lot like you would use sulky, the 12-weight sulky. You'd use 1 strand to stitch. Obviously, you're going to get more coverage on smaller count fabric. Then one of the other things we got a set of counting pins. These are really lovely. I love these a lot. We got a little, one day was this little notions pouch. We got some of those spool peels that you can use, these things right here, to put on your Q-snaps to hold your fabric out of your way. We also got these little quilt clips to also do the same thing, or to clip stuff to. And we got a seam ripper. The seam ripper is really nice. It's really big and really easy to hold. So we got a seam ripper for our toolbox. We also got a little pouch that had some buttons, some skeleton key charms. This is some really pretty lace for finishing, and a little yellow measure tape. This is one of the reasons, these are one of the reasons why I was thinking about maybe doing a cross-stitching toolbox video for this year. We also got a pair of scissors. So Mom and I got the same pair of scissors. They're very sharp, but they're very pretty. So that gets to go in my scissor collection. And we also got Christmassy, I gotta get that back on there. We also got Christmassy needle minders. Both of us got 2, and ours are different. So I got the Christmas bells and the mistletoe. Mom's needle minders are, I think she got a gingerbread and candy canes. But yeah, so we got needle minders. We also got a thing of, a pretty large thing actually, of organic beeswax. This is floss conditioner. So basically you run your floss through it, and it helps the floss from getting knotted. It keeps the floss from getting knotted as you stitch. And then one of the first thing that we got in our bag, and I was really excited to get this, is what's called an ort catcher. An ort is the little pieces of thread that you snip off when you're done with the color that you can't, that's not long enough for you to stitch anymore, that are basically trash. They're called orts. Another term for you here is ort. An ort is old random thread, old ratty thread. Oh God, ratty thread, you know. It's just the little pieces of threads that you can't use to stitch with anymore. You can use this and put them inside your little thing. The nice thing about this is it folds up pretty flat. It's just made of fabric. It folds up pretty flat, so you can stitch it in your stitching bag and take it with you. And then when it gets kind of full, or you get home, you can set it out. But it sits essentially at your station, at your workstation, like this, and you can put your threads in it. So we got that. And that's pretty much it. The very last thing that we got in the Moe's sale box, I haven't shown this to you yet. So if you've watched our videos, I showed you in our our 12th installment of the 12 Days of Christmas video, I shared with you the note that says, to get your 12th installment, please reach out to Moe's sale. Please send an email to get your last gift. And I'm getting ready to show you the last gift. So last year was the first year that they gave everybody a PDF cross-stitch pattern of the, it was a PDF cross-stitch pattern as the very last gift. And if you watch the 12 days of Christmas videos, you get to see Mom's progress on last year's 12th gift for the 12 days of Christmas. Actually, give me just a minute. Let me see if I can bring that up for you. Go into here. There it is. Oops, no sale. Okay. All right. So last year, this was last year's 12 days of Christmas picture. Whoop. Come on. Whoops. This was last year's 12 days of Christmas pattern that we got. So Mom is working on this. She is over in the left-hand side. She's got quite a bit of the left-hand side done. I don't think she's yet at the Christmas tree, but she's approaching the Christmas tree pretty fast. So if you look at the scenery, it looks like a den or a library or a family room type of thing in an older house. You see the archway and the columns and everything. The Christmas tree is by a fireplace. There's stockings hanging, or at least what looks like stockings to me. There's rocking horse and teddy bear and some toys laying about, and a wreath above the fireplace and the mantle. So you can actually kind of see it looks like a very old-fashioned house. So Mom is in the process of stitching that. So you can watch one of our 12 days of Christmas videos and see Mom's progress. So this is this year's 12 days of Christmas final thing. I told Mom, make this a little bigger. I told Mom that I wanted to stitch this, so please don't stitch this. So I'm going to make that bigger. But this is this year's 12 days of Christmas thing. It's very much the same style as last year's. But yeah, so that is this year's 12 days of Christmas, day number 12. So I'm sorry if this spoiled it for you if you haven't opened yours yet, but you should be getting close. So hopefully, I should have said spoiler. But anyway, there you have it. There is this year's 12 Days of Christmas, number 12 package. So that's it for the Mo sale, 12 Days of Christmas. A little recap. Okay, let's see. So we were out shopping the week before Christmas, and my husband, my mom, and I, we stopped at the store Five Below. And, figure out where it is. Okay. So, you know, some of the big box department store or craft stores and everything you go into, they have a section in their store for, you know, kids craft kits and stuff like that. And a lot of kids are into what are called perler beads, or if you don't have the perler brand, they're called melty beads. So you might have seen this. And if you watch my channel for any length of time, you know that I'm a really big fan of Hello Kitty. Well, we were in the Five Below that one night, and I walked up and I was like, oh, I about freaked out. Dylan and Mom were right next. Dylan's my husband. Dylan and my mom were right next to me, and about freaked out. And they pulled all three sets off of the hook, and I'm looking at it, I'm like, oh my god, it's Hello Kitty, it's Hello Kitty, it's Hello Kitty. Well, I put them back because it was close to Christmas, and they both saw my reaction to it. So Dylan waited for a minute. Mom didn't put them in her cart to buy them because I walked away because I was like, they're both there. They both saw my reaction. I'll just walk away. That way I'll be surprised if I get them. Mom didn't get them. Dylan did. I got Hello Kitty melty bead sets. So this one is Kuromi and My Melody. They're cousins, I believe. And it's Hello Kitty. And it comes with the perler beads. I can open one for you. These come with the perler beads or the melty beads because this is not a perler set. Sorry for the crinkle. But you get the melty beads, and you get, I'll show you the pattern, and then, whoops, and then you get the perler bead tray. So that there's these little pegs. They're not, these ones aren't very long. They're not quite as long as the normal perler bead trays that you do your stuff on. So you put your pattern kind of behind the tray. You place the perler beads on the little holes. Then you use your iron. They come with the ironing, the little ironing thing. You put your iron, your clothes iron on a setting, and you iron them, and they squish and melt down, and they stick together just like that. It makes 2 designs. So I got that set, and I got this set, and I got this set. This is Cinema Roll, and this is Keroppi the Frog. Keroppi the Frog, I'm probably going to make, and maybe get some other perler beads and make several of him, make some needle minders out of him for cross stitch. I might even, since I now kind of have the patterns for them, I'll probably just make needle minders of all of these, and maybe include those with, hey, that's an idea, include those with my mailings and stuff, like my winnings, my mailings for the winners. But yeah, so I got Hello Kitty perler bead sets. I've been kind of wanting to try perler beads for a while. They also make perler minis, which are quite a lot smaller than these. So, you know, maybe I can do them in the mini size too. So I'll have to get the colors for them. But yeah, I got, sorry about the crinkle, but I got 3 Hello Kitty perler bead sets. My husband was like, oh God, just get into another craft. I'm very willing to try new crafts. Very willing. And they're Hello Kitty. Can't go wrong with that. All right, sorry about the crinkling there. All right, let's see. Oh, so before Christmas, I kind of alluded to this a little bit beforehand. So for planning, this weekend, because of getting these binder rings for Christmas, I got a whole big set. I've got this whole big set of binder rings for Christmas, because I knew my husband was getting the hole punch for the thing. I went out and bought this binder cover. This is a Martha Stewart notebook that you can find at Staples that uses the disc binder system. And so you can get the notebook with the hardcover. This is real hardcover, and it's kind of fake leather. I stuck some Hello Kitty stickers that I got for Christmas on the front of it. These are just vinyl stickers that I stuck to the front, and a couple on the back too, because I like Hello Kitty. But one of the things I purchased for myself before Christmas as part of Christmas to me was I'm involved in the 24 Hours of Cross Stitch Facebook group. So if you go to Facebook, you can look up the 24 Hours of Cross Stitch. I purchased their 2023 planner. I purchased the printable one. So I had printed off some of the planner. So you get like different tracker sheets. It's basically a whole year planner. You get whip sheets, you know, new starts. You get different trackers, finishes, you know, all kinds of stuff like that you can track. And then it also has like monthly things. So you get the 12 months, January through December. You get the monthly tracker. You get all kinds of other things in here, like the acrostic for the year. So in the 24 Hours of Cross Stitch Facebook group, they have an acrostic every year or every month. So if you get the planner, you get the whole entire year of the acrostics in your planner. Or if you're just in the group, they'll post them usually on the last day of the month. Usually is when they pop up. But this year I decided to get the planner because I wanted some of the tracking sheets for my new planner and stuff. So I set up, this is my cross stitch planner, my specific cross stitch planner. There is another Facebook group that I am part that I am sort of active in called Free Cross Stitch Challenge. And it's put on by a person who has a business called Creatively Crafting. And they do, you've probably seen my, took them out. You've probably seen me show the the stitch counting challenges and the Stitcho board last year. They put out the stitching challenges, and you can sign up. They have a drawing every month. You win points based on, you know, your stitching goals. If you meet the stitching goal, this month is 3,000. And how you do on the bingo board, their bingo board, their Stitcho board has changed this year. It used to be only 3 rows, but now it's 5 rows. So it's more like a traditional board. But anyway, you get points throughout the month for completing the stitch goal and also completing your Stitcho board. And you can enter to win prizes. So if you buy their planner as well, you can get the printable one. If you buy their planner as well, you get the entire year of these. Now, if you want just the challenges for this challenge group and you don't want to buy the planner, you'll have to sign up using your email, because they used to post them on the group, but they don't do that anymore. They send them through email. So you'll have to send them your email, and you'll get it every month, a couple days before the end of the month for the next month. And you can get their challenges that way. But I have set up my a stitching planner now. If you remember too, I was using my clipboard where I keep this next to my stitching chair, where I list the projects I work on every day and the number of stitches I put in. And then I have, you know, just basic challenge things. There's the January calendar back there. Yeah, stuff like that. So I keep this next to my stitchy chair, but I'm going to use this in conjunction with my planner this year to kind of keep track of the stuff that I do for 2023. All right. Down in here. Nope. Out. Okay. Sorry about that. There it is. All right. So, I was telling you that there is a new craft that I've been wanting to get into. Let's see. Here it is. In some of my older videos, you have seen me share my subscription to Punch Needle and Primitive Stitcher magazine. Now, I haven't really been a punch needle person, and up until about a year or two ago, I haven't really been a primitive stitcher either. But there's been some patterns showing up in this magazine for a couple of years that I really want to stitch. And I don't know if this is the one that has Valentine's Day one in it. No, it's not a Valentine's Day. It's a gingerbread house. Yeah, actually, I think this one's the gingerbread house. Let me see if I can find it. But anyway, so I've been looking through this and getting ready to stitch some of these Christmas patterns. Yes, this is the one. So in this issue, this is the 2022 winter issue. There was this gingerbread house punch needle, and I about fell in love with that. So I was like, oh, okay. So I started looking online for different things and trying to find some stuff. And I read some different things. I watched Vanna Pfeiffer, the Twisted Stitcher. I watched some of her videos. She has a whole tutorial set of videos where she tells you all about how to start in punch needle and some of her favorite tools. So I ended up ordering a couple of things so I could get started with punch needle. One of the things my husband gave me is it over here? My husband, he's been doing drawing and stuff like that, and he likes micron pens. I don't think that's it. I don't know where the pen went to, right off the top of my head that he gave me, but you can use like these micron pens to transfer the patterns. So basically what you do is you take, say, this pattern. They give you the pattern outline. I'll show you a little bit here. So they give you generally the pattern outline. Looks just like that. You transfer it onto your fabric. So you can trace it, use a light board, put it on a window, trace it that way. Project it somehow and trace it on your wall, on your fabric. And then you put the fabric in your hoop and you punch from the top, or not from the top of the fabric, but you punch from the side of the fabric that you have drawn your pattern on. But the front is actually the bottom. So when you punch it, you're making little loops on the other side of the fabric that is actually the front of your fabric. So your punch needle piece comes out with these little loops like that. And they're all together. You can use yarn, you can use embroidery thread, you can use, fancy floss, which is also known as overdyed floss. But the fabric that everybody recommends is weaver's cloth. So I found an Etsy shop called yarnshop4u.com. They have a couple of things that you can order, but I got 2 yards of natural weaver's cloth. You can get weaver's cloth in natural. This is kind of a creamy color, more creamy than white, or you can get it in white. But the weaver's cloth, because of the way it's made, when you punch the punch needle through it, it grabs the floss and holds it. Your needle doesn't create a hole in the fabric. It just pushes the threads aside so the needle can get the floss through it. And then when you pull your needle back out, it leaves a loop, but it grabs onto your floss. So that's why you're able to do this. But this is 2 yards of weaver's cloth. I figured that was enough to get me started with some smaller projects to see if I even really like it. So I had this, and then this last week, I finally got my punch needle. So here is my punch needle set. I ended up getting the Ultra Punch. This is the one that Vanna Pfeiffer, the Twisted Stitcher, recommends. She has about 6 or 7. She has quite a handful of these in her stash. But it comes with 3 needle sizes. She explains everything in her videos about this. And it comes with, you see these long metal things right here? These are needle threaders, because you'll need to pull the floss through the tube of your punch needle through the needle. So you'll need a needle threader that's long enough to go through your pen. Haven't opened this yet because I also ordered, there's a company called Morgan. Oh, excuse me. They have this lap stand, Morgan lap stand, that has 2 sizes of hoops and 3 legs that you stick the hoops onto, so it makes like a lap stand. And you kind of want the Morgan one, the Morgan hoops, because they have a lip on the inside in the middle of the hoop that grabs the fabric, and it keeps the fabric super taut. You want your fabric super taut because you're punching it through the fabric. You're punching your punch needle through the fabric, and it makes it clunk, 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 and you want your fabric drum tight. So you order these Morgan hoops, and I ordered one because I was hoping to get the stand set with the 2 hoops and then the 3 legs that make it, off the table. And the Amazon listing was wrong. It had the description and the product information for what I was looking for, but the title just said 9-inch hoop. And all I got was a 9-inch hoop. I didn't get the lap stand with the 2 different hoops and the legs that I was hoping for. So we're sending that back, and I have one on order. Hopefully I'll get it. I think it's due to come in in about 10 days. So hopefully I'll get that, and hopefully maybe late January, early February, I can get started with punch needle. But yeah, so in the Punch Needle and Primitive Stitcher magazine, this is one of the ones I'm probably going to do because it's actually quite small. And I'm thinking that you can actually take, yeah, I'm thinking you can actually take the pattern. So this is kind of what the pattern looks like a little bit. You can take the pattern, you see the outlines there. You can shrink it. You can make them any size, really. So you can shrink them down, make them small. You can make them bigger. I think, you know, I might be trying that. But yeah, the punch needle is just something that I've been kind of wanting to try anyway. And this mitten is adorable. I can't show you this other page over here, but this mitten, look at this mitten, you guys. The mitten is adorable. I might have to try that mitten. Now that one's really small. Yeah, that one's really small. So I might try the mitten too. Do the mitten and everything. But they give you the well, that one uses Valdani thread. Oh. But anyway, Punch Needle Primitive Stitcher magazine, you can get lots of stuff on there. One of the other things I was figuring out too, you could actually probably download a bunch of free color pages, because you know color pages are just the outline. All you really need is the outline of the piece, and you can fill it in with whatever color. It's basically exactly like coloring with floss using a punch needle. So yeah, I'm probably going to be trying out punch needle. So I got the start of my punch needle supplies. All right. I talked about the planner, talked about that, talked about perler beads. Some of the new things that came up today, I got the newest issue of the World of Cross Stitching magazine. There was only one or two things in here that I thought was really pretty. One of the things I thought that was really kind of cool is this bird. I don't know if I'd ever stitch this bird, but the bird is pretty. I probably will never stitch it. There is some Chinese New Year. It's the Year of the Rabbit. There's some Chinese New Year patterns in here. I'm not going to do a full flip through of this magazine because Carolyn Zook from C Zook Stitch here on YouTube already does a flip through of this magazine every time she gets one. And yeah, there's some stuff in this one that I'm definitely not into stitching, but yeah, I think that was all I really wanted to show. Oh, there's a really pretty female dragon in here that I thought was kind of, it's called the Sky Queen. Look at that dragon. But yeah, so I got the newest issue of the Cross Stitcher magazine, the World of Cross Stitching magazine today. All right. Okay, that's coming next. There's a new Facebook designer. Well, there's a designer who opened up a fairly new, or at least new to me, Facebook group called Cherry Hill Stitchery. They put out a new Valentine's Day freebie on their chart. So if you go to Cherry Hill Stitchers, I believe it's Cherry Hill Stitchers on Facebook, you can get the Happy Valentine's Day pattern. This may be a new start for me very soon. Yeah. Tracker pages, more tracker pages. And then also over the weekend, the newest installment of the Frosted Pumpkin Halloween Wreath came in. Part number 3, which is this part here, came in through email. You can go to the Frosted Pumpkin. I think it's frostedpumpkin.com to order the wreath. This is a stitch along. Started, I think, in October last year with part 1, which was the house in the middle. Or maybe that was the initial one. Start out with a house. That was the initial one. You start out with a house in the middle. So every month we'll get a new section. I haven't even gotten fabric for this, so I've definitely not started it. But I have some fabric in mind. I have a purple that might actually go really nice on this. I don't know. So we'll see. This might be a new start for this year too. That's for all of that. And I think that's it for new stuff. All right. So, where'd it go? All right. We are doing a 2022 wrap up. All right, we're getting into the that does it for new stuff for us. All right. So, there's all tabs. All right, so we are going into 2022 wrap up. Thank you very much for listening. Oh, it's an hour. It's going to be a long video, you guys. I'm sorry about that. Sorry, not sorry. So here is one of my tracker sheets, like I showed you earlier, where I would do stitching. And I keep it next to my stitchy chair, and it shows you what project I was working on and how many stitches I stitched. I'm in a bunch of Facebook challenge groups where we need to have stitch count, and we need to stitch a certain number of stitches in order to claim the prompts and to mark them as finished. So that is why I keep track of the project I'm working on and how many stitches. One of the things I'm hoping to do with the planner, I have come up with this. This is just an Excel spreadsheet that I have come up with because I'm going to put in the date over here, the project I'm stitching on, and then these next 4 columns, there's 3 sets of 4 columns. I'm going to put down the Facebook challenge group, the stitch goal, how many stitches I finished, and then if I posted my finish or not. So I am going to be tracking my projects like this. Because I'm in so many Facebook groups, we can double dip across the groups. So I'm going to put the name of the Facebook group I'm stitching for, how many stitches I need, and then when I finish it, I'll mark it off. So that way I have a better track than just what I'm doing and how many stitches I stitched. I'm going to do these in conjunction with each other. So this will help me remember that that project I'm stitching that night goes to that Facebook challenge. So it's another, just another thing that I'm going to be keeping with my clipboard. And this is just, it's double-sided. I have it on both sides so I don't waste a bunch of paper. So that is on my stitching notebook. You can see here, I did some stitching on New Year's Day. I had stitched on Words to Live by the Tiny Modernist. So you can see on this one, maybe, that I was stitching on Magazine Monthly Challenge, Baringo Day 1, Magical Stitches, January Book Prompt, Pop Culture ABCs. I stitched twice for Pop Culture ABCs because I needed 100 stitches. I did about 216. And this just tells me what challenge I'm working on and also when I post the finish. But I haven't stitched anything since Sunday, so I'm a little behind because Baringo Magazine Monthly Challenge group, we're doing Baringo. So we have a basically a bingo board, and I'll show you that in a minute. But we have a bingo board anyway, and each day they call another number. So this sits next to me on my stitching chair along with my planner, and I can do that. But we're not yet into 2023 stitching. So I will kind of go over some numbers with you. This isn't set. This was last year's planner. I use a passion planner for my daily life. So in here you can see I keep track. The top part is usually what I do at work. So all the stuff I have to work on. There, the boxes, like some of the boxes over here. This one is Magazine Monthly Challenge Zoom. There was a Magazine Monthly Challenge Group Zoom call on this Sunday or Saturday. I keep track of different events. I like to watch Survivor, so I'll put in here when Survivor airs. I have a tracker down here for all the different fun things that I like to do, like reading, stitching, journaling, ocarina, if there's crochet, video games, walking, geocaching, different things like that. You know, I'll kind of mark off the days that I work on those items just so I can kind of keep track sort of how many days each year, or rather each week I do it. So this is generally what I use my planner for. This goes with me every day to and from work because I keep track of what I have to work on that day at work and also what I get done. So in the back of my planner, I have my WIPGO board. This is kind of where my WIPGO 2022 board ended up. You can see all the numbers were called. They're all outlined. And only the ones that are filled in are the ones I finished, except for this one up here in the corner. I accidentally filled it in. It wasn't finished. So that is what my WIPGO board looked like. I didn't even have a bingo. Did I have a bingo? No. I didn't even have a bingo for 2022. So yeah, the wheels kind of fell off my WIPGO bus. Another thing I was keeping track of in my planner is the stitching projects that I bought throughout the year, but I stopped this after about March. I wasn't really actively keeping track. The other thing I keep track of is each project I stitch on, I write down how many stitches I stitched on it that month. I also fill in these boxes here. These are the stitch count boxes over here. I highlight the ones that are selected for WIPGO, and they're filled in if I finish them. I also keep track of the date I started them. If I started them prior to that year, I'll usually just put pre whatever year it is, so like pre-2022, unless I know the date for sure if I started, and then if I finished it, what kind of pattern type it is if it's PDF, a magazine, or paper, and if it's for a stitch along. I didn't really keep track of the stitch alongs this year. There were some that I participated in, but so as you can see, for the WIPGO for January, these first two, Stonehearth Hutch and Fudgy Mint Mousse, they were both for WIPGO for January, but I didn't work on them the rest of the year. I did them for January, and I completed the January WIPGO goals for them, but I didn't work on them the rest of the year. But yeah, so I keep track of all the pieces I work on for the year, and when I stitch and how much I stitch on them for the month. These are monthly. So going over the totals, I stitched a total of over, it's not exact because there's some items that I didn't specifically count the stitches, I just know I stitched on them. So over 31,213 stitches in 2022. Over, because I don't have an exact count, because some of them I didn't stitch, some of them I couldn't, or I didn't count, some of them I couldn't count. But anyway, so 31,213 stitches for 2022. My 2021 numbers, I did this last year for 2021, and my 2021 numbers are still messed up. I've been meaning to all of 2022 to go back in and redo my numbers, but I have not. Hi, looking for Harbs. She was down here earlier. I don't know if she's here. Hubby's bringing down the cat food. They get treats every night before bed. Alrighty. So anyway, so I have totals down here at the bottom. I kind of went through and totaled all the stitches for the month. Also, if I didn't, in the beginning of the year, if I didn't work on a piece until I got to a specific month, they're all marked out with X's. So all these X's down here, I didn't start stitching on them last year until the first number. Or if they were called for WIPGO, I put out there that I stitched. But these are just the, the projects that I stitched on. Let me see if I can tell you a number. I should be able to tell you a number. 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41. All right, I touched 41 projects last year in 2022. Actually, that's a good point. There we go. 41 projects. Okay, 41 projects. I'm writing this down. So I stitched on 41 projects in 2022. I started 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. 17 starts. finishes. This is actually kind of exciting. Some of these are small. Finishes that weren't starts. One finish, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 starts and finishes. So this year I started 17. Of those 17, I finished 7 of them. That's actually quite a lot. So I told you I had 31,213 stitches plus some for 2023. It could be a couple hundred. It might only be 50. I don't know the exact number, but I had at least 31,213 stitches. My best month for stitching was January. Make sure. In January, I stitched 5,395 stitches alone. And my worst month was October. My worst month was October. I only stitched 899 stitches in the month of October. So my number range for stitching for each month, the lowest was 899 stitches. The best was 5,395. So, I think I have a goal next year to hit at least 32,000 stitches counted for the year. I don't know. I'd like to say I'd like to touch all 67 of my projects. Like I said, I came into 2023 with 67 projects. And let me get to 2 of those finishes for you right now. These were finishes that I had in December. The first one was a start and a finish. This was was one of the 7 starts and finishes. So I needed to do a small ornament, a second small ornament for one of my whip goes. And I had this Prairie Schooler stockings pattern that I had picked up, I think, off a freebie table at StitchCon this year. So I was looking at one of these and I was like, oh, this house is really cute. I could probably stitch that up, no problem. It doesn't look like it's very big. But then I decided, so there's the house. So I thought I could stitch up the house. That would be really cute, really small. But then I saw the Santa, and I thought the Santa was really cute. So I had a piece of just 22 count Hardanger, which is basically 22 count Aida, laying around. So I pulled the floss for it, and it ended up being a whip go finish as well in December. I started this, when did I start it? Whew. Okay, 2023 whips. Where's my number? Ugh. Where's my numbers? Oh, come on. There we go. So I started this. When did I start it? Look at my planner. Oh, sorry, you guys. Anyway, I started the Santa stocking December 5th. I finished it December 20th. And here he is. So I now have another finish to do. He's going to look a little dark unless I put him really close. So you can see he's kind of like flying. And he has a bag on his back with a candy cane. You can see his green boots. It was a really quick stitch, really easy to stitch. Put 300 stitches on it. I could tell you, but anyway, so we'll get to that in a minute. But anyway, so this is my start and finish for December. Prairie Schooler Santa. I may take some of this extra fabric because there's so much. I'm probably just going to make him a little teeny ornament. Make a really good gift tag type of thing, but I'm probably going to make it, maybe I'll make him a gift tag ornament. I don't know how I'm going to finish them yet. But I may do another one of these little Prairie Schooler things down here. Like I may actually do the house. I also thought the Noel was really pretty. So I don't know. I may use the rest of the fabric because I had read the pattern and I forgot that I was using a smaller count fabric than what they actually said. So I cut this piece of fabric as if I was stitching using the same count fabric that they did. But this is actually smaller because it's 22 count. Had fun stitching it. It was a really quick stitch. Really easy to stitch. Went really quick. So that was a finish. Then on New Year's Eve, I was digging through some stuff and to find something small to work on because I didn't want to have to drag, my whole laps or floor stand set up and everything into the living room to stitch to watch the ball drop. And I just wanted something that I could stitch in hand. So I was looking through some of my mail hook kits and stuff. And I found this little kit and I remembered stitching on it. Now this kit is copyright. When is it copyright? It's a Just Nan kit. I don't even think it has the copyright on it. I lost the actual picture. Oh, there, 1997. So this pattern came out in 1997. It's a Filigree's Fancy or a Filigree Fancies kit by Just Nan. I don't even know if these are even made. Filigree Fancies kit by Just Nan. This is called Teddy's Wreath. Teddy's Wreath, Filigree Fancies. And it is by Just Nan. I had started this pretty much when I bought it. So I bought it sometime probably 97, 98, 99, somewhere around in there. And I finished this on Christmas Eve. I had all the main stitching done except for the white Smyrna crosses. If you see here the gold, those are rice stitches. And I had to add the red beads, the berries. The red beads are berries. And then I had to attach the teddy bear. That's all I had to do in this. So I spent Christmas Eve finishing up the white Smyrna crosses, adding the gold rice stitches and the red beads, and then attaching the teddy bear. So this is now finished. So I actually have 2 more finishes to add to my FFO pile for next year. So that is exciting. I don't know. I may keep this pattern. I don't know. So this was a kit. So all I have is this piece of paper. This is the original piece of paper that came with the kit. And this is the floss for the Prairie Schooler Santa. This is the floss kit that came with the Just Nan teddy bear wreath. And you can see there's quite a bit of it left. The only thing I didn't have is the white, the 930. I just pulled off the card and threw the rest away. So I'm not going to keep this part, but I at least have the colors that it uses. So I could maybe restitch it again. I may just put the pattern out on the freebie table. I don't know. On the retreat. So there is that. All right, let me get. Okay. And this was my very last finish for 2022. I finished this just before the countdown started in the ball drop in New York City. I finished this about 13 seconds before midnight on New Year's Eve. So, okay. Do certain finishes. Yep. All right. So, I told you I was going into 2023 with 67 whips. 68 if you counted this. I had completely didn't include this on my list of whips, even though I probably started it in the late 90s. Just because it's so small. And I was like, yeah, I'm not including that as a whip. I probably should have. And I probably should have finished it a long, long time ago. But anyway, so coming into 2023, I was coming into the year with 67 whips. These are the whips that I know about. These are the whips that didn't get tucked away somewhere that I don't know where they're at. These are all the whips that I know for sure are whips. So of my 67 whips, I have a total of 6 Heaven and Earth design whips going on. And I have 4 non-Heaven and Earth design full coverage projects. Okay. So that's 10 total full coverage projects. 6 of them are whips or HAIDs. 4 of them are just other companies' full cross stitch. I have a white willow stitching one that I haven't stitched on in a while. I have I don't even remember the other ones. Oh, Charting Creations. Yeah, Charting Creations. That is the Blossom Blade one. I have that one. And then there's 2 other ones that are not Heaven and Earth designs, but 6 of my whips are Heaven and Earth designs. I have four numbers are hard, 4 Mill Hill kits in some stage of progress. I have either 14 or 16 kit projects where you get the fabric and the floss and the pattern to do them all in a kit, like a store-bought kit. I have 14 or maybe 16 of those. Not sure. 14 to 16 of them. I have 5 magazine projects going. And of those 67, so I have the 10 full coverage pieces in Pattern Keeper. And then I have 4 other ones that I've put into Pattern Keeper that I am stitching using Pattern Keeper. One of them is the Grim Grinning Ghost Stitch Along. One of them is one of the Frosted Pumpkins. And I don't remember what the other one is, but I have 14 patterns in my Pattern Keeper that I'm actively stitching on. And then I have 40 patterns going right now that are paper only, whether they be like magazine or, you know, you buy a leaflet, you buy a pattern, whatever. So yeah, that's kind of how I did that. So yeah, I came into 2023 with 67 things. And I have a list of some next to start things. So I have 64 78, 79, 70, 71, 72, 73, 74, 75, 76. I have about 76 patterns that are in various stages of being kitted up that I am wanting to start potentially for next year. This is the next to start. They include things like A Year in the Woods by Carter's Garden Samplings. I have the fabric and most of the flosses for it. So I'm probably going to start that. These are potential starts for 2023. HAID Snowman, which is the HAID pattern that I got when I went to Camp Gotta Stitch. That was in my freebie bag. Pumpkin Swirl by Glendon Place. Square Dance, January to December by Heart and Hand. Batty Bakery by Frosted Pumpkin. It was in the 2018 Just Cross Stitch Halloween magazine. Penny's Potions, which is also Frosted Pumpkin. It was in the 2019 Just Cross Stitch Halloween magazine. Some Fireside Original patterns. Let's see. Some little kits that we got at Camp Gotta Stitch are on my list. Several Mill Hill kits, including the Christmas Village Schoolhouse, the Christmas Village Daily News, I have other ones on here. Thought I had other ones on here. Mill Hill Nativity Trilogy Joseph. I have the Angels. I have all the Nativity Trilogy ones, but those are on my list to do. When I think of Spring, Summer, Fall, Winter by Puntini. A Pair of Winter Chicks by Fireside Originals. I thought about getting those out for Baringo this week, and I'll get into that. But yeah, these are some of the things I might consider starting. Move Forward in Love by Modern Folk Embroidery. I have that kitted up, ready to go. I just haven't started it yet. That might be a June Pride project for me this year. And these aren't encompassing everything. This list is not encompassing everything. Winter Cometh by Summerhouse Stitchworks. Winter Alphabet and Buttons by Mountain Forest Frameworks. I also have Fall Alphabet and Buttons by Mountain Forest Frameworks. So I have winter and fall. I might have to do digging to see if I can get spring and summer. I don't know if they even had a spring and summer, but it might be neat to have all 4 sets. I know the winter alphabet and fall alphabet, I think, are out of print now by Mount Forest Frameworks, so I'll have to dig to see if I can find any more. With My Needle by Just Nan. I'll get into that too, because I'll talk about my plans going forward. A Spider Banner by Alexandra Adelaide. And Miss Valentine, which is the one of the fairies kits that came out by Mary Belia a couple years ago. I have the kit. They're just now starting to bring out just the patterns for those. So you can get the Christmas Eve fairy now as a pattern. You used to only be able to buy it by in a kit. There's just other things on here that I'm probably gonna end up starting potentially in 2023. So I have a list of new next to start for 2023. Oh yeah, I showed you my WibGo. Yep. So the stitching challenges. Here's December stitching for free Creatively Crafting's free cross stitch challenge group. So you can see I didn't stitch a lot in December. I did have 2 finishes. But anyway, so that is it for 2022 and some going into 2023. So some of the things I'm doing for 2023, you've seen this already. This is my WibGo board for 2023. January squares are 6 over here, which is a piece representing the current season or winter. The current season or weather, sorry, is winter. So I'm going to be stitching on Hayed 4 Seasons. I forget the actual artist of that, but it's the one where you have winter, spring, summer, fall, all around. It has all the 4 seasons around it, and you basically take it like this and display it like that for the 4 seasons. So I'm going to be working on that. That is a full coverage piece that I'm doing on 25 count over 1. I think I had restarted it because I had started it on just linen that I was gridding myself, and I got 25 count last year, and kind of restarted a couple of things because I wanted to use it's not 32 count. I used 32 count. And when I restarted them, I did them full cross. I think I'm just going to go back and do half stitch, 10th stitch. The second square is square number 10. Oops, sorry about that. Square number 10, Carolyn Manning Aquamarine. So my goal this year, I shortened my goals for WibGo, so I wasn't stressed about getting them done towards the end of the year. Each of my square goals that have the check boxes in them, like this one, 500 stitches or 5 days. So I have yet to even start on my WibGo goals. So you can go to WibGo 2023 on Facebook. That is the Facebook group. You can also follow Jessie Marie Does Stuff on YouTube. She has YouTube videos explaining on her channel how WibGo works and the premise behind WibGo. But you can join her Facebook group, and that is where she posts the 2 numbers that are called every month. And basically you stitch your goal and you mark it off. And then when you get, the goal is to get a bingo or to cover your whole board. I have a free space in the middle, which means whenever she calls number 13, which is my free space, she'll call a 3rd number that month, and you'll have either 3 goals or just the 2 goals to do. Mine is only going to be 2 because my thing is a free space. So whenever that number is called, I can color in the square. So whenever the number is called and you finish the goal for that month, you can mark in the square. Now I'm doing the WibGo different this year than I did last year. Last year, these were goals for the entire year. So say right now, I decided to work on Snow Village down here. which is square number 22 for me. My goal is to finish one scene. If it's February and I pull out Snow Village and I finish the one scene, I'd mark it down as completed. And then if it wasn't called until June, on June 1st, I could fill in the square as claimed. I think what this year I'm going to do is, I haven't fully decided 100% for sure if I'm going to do this, because some of these things are in my Baringo for January for Magazine Monthly Challenge. I might, like for Snow Village is on my Baringo. I could potentially get 300 stitches stitched on this. So when the number's called, all I need is 200 more stitches. I haven't decided if I'm going to make just total stitches on this for the entire year, or if when that month's called, I have to stitch 500 stitches or after on that. I haven't decided. I'm leaning towards the month or after doing the 500 stitches for WibGo and then just putting whatever other stitches I do in these projects as extra for the year. I might do that because then I'll get more of these things finished. But I don't know. So we shall see kind of what I do. But this is my WibGo board and you'll see January's. So Magazine Monthly Challenge group, they started out doing themes and acrostics like this. So the whole premise behind the Magazine Monthly Challenge Facebook group, you just go to Magazine Monthly Challenge. This was started by Carolyn Zook of C. Zook Stitch. She determined, I think 2 or 3 years ago, that she had a lot of magazine projects. I think it was the middle of 2021, actually. She had a lot of magazine projects that she wanted to start working on. And so she's like, well, you know what, let's create a cross stitch group based on magazine projects. You know, all the magazine charts that you want to stitch. So she decided it would be kind of fun to do a monthly challenge where she gives a theme. And you pick a magazine project for your theme, and then she'll give an acrostic. And so for each letter in the acrostic, you pick a project that you're working on, and you set a goal, and you try and meet that goal every month for those projects, for the theme and the acrostic. The whole premise behind this, though, was that the theme would definitely be a magazine cross-stitch piece. And I've tried to stick to that. And you'll see here that I did stick to that this month. The acrostic letters, however, can be stitched with any project, whether it be magazine, a PDF, a paper copy, something you designed, something a friend of yours designed, whatever. It can be anywhere you get it from. So you'll see here for January, I finally picked my confetti piece tonight. So Victorian Christmas Eve is Victorian Christmas Eve is my magazine theme project for January, and it came out of the Cross Stitch and Needlework January 2008 magazine. So this was a piece that I started. I don't think I wrote down when I started it. I have these cards for all my projects that I wrote down information about it. I started it December 12th, 2020. There you go. So I started this one December 12th, 2020. It's Nora Corbett. It was in the Cross Stitch and Needlework magazine, January 2008 edition, pages 29 to 32. I'm using a 32 count linen, maybe natural, and the called for flosses. Okay. This is what she looks like from the magazine. Okay. Victorian Christmas Eve. Definitely a Nora Corbett. She's very, very reminiscent of the Rose of Sharon type thing that she has out, or that her mom has out. I think it's Nora. Very reminiscent of that. I started this in December 2020 because one of the ladies in the Sunshine, I think the Sunshine Stitchers actually decided to do this stitch along in December of that year for one of the other Nora Corbett's. It was one of her other winter Christmassy ones, and I didn't have that one, but I had this one, so I was using this one to sub for it. But here is the front of the magazine issue that it's in. So you want to look for the ones with the ornaments and the gold package on the front. Cross stitch and needlework. And you want to look for the Nora Corbett exclusive project is what you're looking for. But this is the January 2008 issue to get Victorian Christmas Eve. I didn't get very far on it. And I honestly don't know which side is up. I think, yeah, I do. Okay, this side is up. So this is all my progress on Victorian Christmas Eve. And I will show you in the pattern where it is, or in the picture. So if you look here, it is this arm going into the hand warmer and this little bit of the dress right here. So you can kind of see that. That is where I got. That is all the farther I got. So this is going to be my Magazine Monthly Challenge theme project, because there's a lot of confetti stitches in the greenery on the arch. Lots of confetti stitches. Confetti is one stitch in a color here, one stitch in that same color somewhere else. But it's sprinkled about. It's not like blocks of color. Like here you can see like this light pink. There's blocks of color in it. Confetti stitching is when there's a stitch here, stitch here, stitch here, stitch here, stitch here. And there's not blocks of that color. Significant blocks of that color anywhere else. So this is going to be my theme piece for Magazine Monthly Challenge. I just figured that out tonight. So this is in a vinyl, it's kind of a vinyl bag with a weird vinyl front. Some of my older patterns that I was keeping in here stuck to it. And it's discolored, but it keeps, you know, it's kind of waterproof and keeps the pattern. So that is going to be my Magazine Monthly Challenge group. For Magazine Monthly Challenge in January, they always do Bingo, which is like bingo and like WhipGo. So you have a board. They give you a list of prompts: magazine new start, oldest whip, largest whip, smallest whip, whipper new start with words, whipper new start that is out of season, one that's in season, start of your whip or new start of your choice, whip you dread. These are the 2023 Bingo prompts. So you take your bingo board, you randomly put the numbers 1 through 25 in them. At the time I did my board up, I didn't know what projects I was going to select for them. So I just put the prompt in the box. And your goal is to stitch 1 hour or 100 stitches on each of the boxes for each day, it's called. So for January 1st through 25, January 1 through 25, every day she selects a new number the night before. So you know going into the next day what you have to stitch. These are the first 5 numbers that were called. I stitched this project on January 1st. That was a whip or new start with words. I worked on Tiny Modernist Words to Live By. You may be familiar with Words to Live By. But anyway, this is where I was on Words to Live By. I hadn't yet finished this white square right here, so I did the white square on Words to Live By. That's what I worked on for that one. And I haven't done any more stitching yet in 2023. So I have that to stitch on. The second was square number 8 over here. This one for me is Whip or New Start of Your Choice. I'm going to be doing Aquamarine by Carolyn Manning. I don't have the color version of this yet. It's in Pattern Keeper. I just have the thing. This is one of her Shooting Star collection pieces. This is Aquamarine. I was born in March. Aquamarine is my birthstone. This is in greens and grays and aquas kind of colors. I was supposed to stitch on this on the 2nd. I did not. I am stitching this on a piece of white. I want to say it's 28 count even weave. Just a piece that I had in my stash that I figured I would stitch on. So this is where I was the last time I stitched on it. So you can see this is as big as it's going to get. So I did the entire gray border part right there, and I'm working on the motifs. So this is in greens and stuff. This is for square 2. So this was day 2 for Baringo. So I have to get stitching on aquamarine. So you can see it's got lots of like greens and aquas and very pale green aqua blues. So it's my birthstone. So that is going to be on here. And this is also my Whipco square. So I need to get 500 stitches on this done for January. So that is aquamarine. I'm into 2023 plans. I'm getting you kind of going on some of the stuff I'm working on in January. You saw my only progress update on Words to Live By. So, I don't think that's anything. That's that. Okay. We've talked about that. Square number 3 for Baringo is right here. Right here. Down here. Whipper New Start from a magazine. And I decided yesterday that my Whipper New Start from a magazine, when I got to it, was going to be from the Just Cross Stitch April 2022 issue from last year. It's from this issue, the Just Cross Stitch 2022. It is the Easter Egg Trio. This is going to be my new start. This is square number 3. This is what I should have started yesterday. When I was going through my whips 2 weeks ago, and some of the projects I wanted to start, I found these print-offs that I had made of this chart. And I was like, ooh, that would be really pretty. Ooh, I could do that, you know, between now and April, and I'd have some things to finish for April. So I didn't have any fabric picked, or at least I didn't think I had any fabric picked, but I did have. So with me now stitching on 22 count, I didn't remember that I had pulled aside a piece of 22 count hardanger that would be more than big enough to do all 3. It would actually be big enough to probably do six of the Easter eggs and have plenty of stuff to finish them. So this is my 22 count white hardanger that I was going to use for it. And when I was looking tonight, I found a piece of 32 count antique white Belfast that I could use. This is antique white, so this is off white, this is white. And then I also have this, I think it's 28 count just even weave, big box store even weave that I could use too. So I have a couple of options to start these. And then I was like, well, I know I had picked, I think, the pink color. So this calls for Classic Colorworks and DMC White. There's 3 Classic Colorworks because there's a pink, a green, and a purple. And then the white is the rest of the stuff. And these were stitched on a 36 count cream linen from Zweigart. So maybe I can stitch them on off white, or maybe I can just stitch them on white. But here's the thing. So I've been thinking, you know, I have all this Mo's sale floss, and I went through my Mo's sale floss tonight when I was getting ready to come down here and film. This is the pink posy from Classic Colorworks. This is the pink that is called for in the pattern. That's the only color called for in the pattern that I actually own. But I was going through it, and I was like, you know what? Look, Mo's sale, bada bing. That might be really pretty. Look, Mo's sale, Luna, kind of spring. This one has a little bit of orange in it. I didn't really have a full purple. Mo's sale Joy. It's kind of a bright aqua and a very pale blue. Most Sale Bayside. It's kind of an aqua color. That's more true. This one is Most Sale Mary. This is a blue and a kind of a, well, it's kind of a lavenderish blue and a kind of an aqua teal color, Mary. This is Most Sale Hazel. This is kind of a green, 2 shades of green. This is Most Sale Joan, which is a purple and a blue mixed together. This is Most Sale Classic Rose. It's kind of a variegated, very pale pink. This is Most Sale Baby Blue Eyes. As you can see, I've collected a lot of Most Sale. And this is Give It, Crivet. I'm not sure exactly the name of this. This is a cotton hank. But look at this. I could do all of them in this. This is a variegated floss. It goes from yellow into a little bit of green, into kind of a light blue, into a touch of purple, into pink, and then into a teal. So I could do all of them in this. I think that might be really pretty. And then I got to thinking, I was like, but if I have white fabric, I'm not going to want to do the white parts in here because it's charted with as DMC white. I have this Most Sale Silk Fawn. I have this Most Sale Silk Fawn. It's kind of an off-white. But, I mean, I think that might be really kind of pretty just to do them all in that. Actually, that's probably what I'm going to go with now that I think about it. But I don't know. Well, that might show up on the antique white. I don't know. I'll have to think about it. I mean, I think just looking at it now, I'm going to go with the Most Sale Phone and the Most Sale Give It. This is the color. I can't quite read it. Give It. Crivet? I don't remember. But these are, this is cotton and this is silk. So, you know, you can mix cotton and silk. Yeah, so I might do that. The other thing I was thinking of is I could use this as the white instead and then pick any of these other colors, you know, like this pink or, you know, this kind of orange and pink. You know, this blue and purple. I can pick any of these colors for these Easter eggs, and that would be really pretty. I don't have, well, there's a green. I have the green. I could use the greens for that. So actually, yeah, I do. Well, I don't really have anything that's just all purple. I could do the blue and purples. But yeah, I can, I've got quite a bit that I can do. This is blue. I can do a blue one instead of a purple one. Yeah, so there's that. So this is my Easter egg trio for square number 3 that I should have stitched yesterday. Yep. Easter egg trio. So that is what I'm going to be stitching on for Baringo. This is going to hit a couple of the Baringo squares. Now that it's on my square for New Start, it would depend on. I think I'm just going to fold this up since I have the magazine with it. All right, so yep, that is that. Oh, okay. Get in there. Get in the bag. There we go. So that is Baringo square 3, Baringo square 4, which is today's square, which I'm not going to have time to stitch. So I'm going to be 4 squares behind starting tomorrow. Whipper New Start that is in season. So I was talking about the 4 seasons of Hayden. This is 4 seasons. This is by Jacek Yurka. So this is the 4 seasons chart. Many of you have probably seen this. this is the Four Seasons chart by Jessica Yurka. I restarted this in 2022 on 32 count easy count fabric. I was doing it, was I doing this one over one full? I think I was doing this one over one full cross. But I was starting in the lower left corner. This is the winter down here. I don't remember if I was doing this over one full cross. I think it was over one full cross. I think I'm just going to do the half cross. Yeah, I think no, this is half cross. Okay, this is all tent stitch. So I'm gonna be working on this. Most challenge groups that you're in, if you're doing tent stitch, you have to do 2 tent stitches to equal 1 stitch for each of the challenges, because most of the challenges they ask you to do a cross stitch. Well, a cross stitch is 2 lengths of the stitch. It's the bottom stitch one way and the top stitch going the other way. So when you're doing tent stitch, you're usually only going one direction. So you're usually only doing half of the cross stitch. So for challenge groups, a lot of times you have to do 2 tent stitches for every stitch you need to do. So if you have a goal of, say, 50 stitches, you have to do 100 tent stitches to equal the 50 cross stitches that you need for the challenge. So this is actually in tent stitch. I can tell because I can see some of the fabric behind the thing. This is 1 over 1 full tent stitch, and I'm starting in the lower corner. Did I put it back? Yeah, I put it back. So when I was working on it last year, I was also doing tent stitch, but I was doing 2 over 1 tent stitch. But I had gridded my own fabric for it, and this is all I had gotten done on it. So I figured that when I got the easy count fabric that was already pre-gridded, because you can see I only gridded part of the fabric for it, and I was kind of sick of trying to stop and grid. So I just decided, since I wasn't very far, that I was going to get 32 count fabric, ordered quite a bit of it from Heaven and Art Designs, and restarted it so I wouldn't have to worry about gridding. So this is my restart last year. So that is where I'm at. This is today's square. So I have to do 100 stitches or 1 hour. And 100 stitches is basically one of these squares. One of these gridded squares is 100 stitches. So I might make this like a 200 stitch goal. Because I don't know, I think in the Magazine Monthly Challenge group, it's 1 stitch, no matter what it is 1 stitch. So 1 tent stitch is 1 stitch. 1 full cross is 1 stitch. But I may still make this 200 because I need to get farther along in this than just that little corner. But it's a pretty big piece. So that is today's square in Baringo. I'd like to get farther along on this than I am. Just to show you, here's all my floss for this. All my floss, all on floss drops. One of the things I started doing last year, I used to keep all my flosses for all the projects that I had going on 3 metal rings. One for the 0 to 900s, one the 900s to like the 3000s, and one to like with the 3700s and 3800s and stuff. I used to have 3 floss rings that had all the flosses for all the projects I was working on sitting next to my stitchy chair. So all I had to do is pull up the floss ring with that color set or that color number set and just pull a strand of floss for the project I was working on. The problem that I was getting into, especially in 2018, 2019, and 2020, was I wanted to take projects with me to stitch when we went away for the weekend. I had the pattern and the fabric and everything together for it, but I'd have to take my big tub of floss, the entire set of floss that I had for my working projects. I would have to take everything with me for like, say, maybe 15 colors. And so I decided, you know what, I'm going to create, I think it was in 2020. In 2020, I decided that I was going to create one big master set of floss and then start kitting up every piece I worked on. So I started using floss drops, and that's what I started to do. So every kit that I pulled out, or every whip that I pulled out, I now go and pull all the threads for that whip, put them on floss cards or in floss baggies. I don't bobbinate because it takes too much time, and I find it kinks the floss way too much. I just don't bobbinate. I'm not a bobbinator. I either use floss drops or put them in floss away bags. But anyway, I started kitting up each of my whips as I was pulling them out to work on them. And I find it's much easier because now all I have to do is go find the whip that I want to work on or that I need to work on for a challenge group, pick up that whip, and everything's in it. I can go for a weekend, pick 5 projects, and have everything for just those 5 projects. If I work on just one project, everything for that project is with that project. So now it also makes it easier knowing what color I need more of. So if I pick up if I were to pick up a whip and it didn't have any of the floss with it, and I dig in my stash to find the floss color I need, I might not have any of that floss color available because I might not know that I need it, and I might not have bought it. So anyway, that's what I'm going to do. So tomorrow's cross stitch piece is the Easter egg trio. It's a new start. Looking forward to that. Today's was that. So the Easter egg trio was a new start. That's for tomorrow. All right. So I'm in a couple of the other Facebook. So I talked about Magazine Monthly Challenge, and I talked about WhipGo. Some of the other challenge groups that I am involved in, that I will be at this point in time actively involved in for the year. So Heaven and Earth Designs, there is a person by the name of Portia Parcher. A few years ago, she started the Stitch Talk Hade Facebook group because she was doing the 100 Days of Heaven and Earth Designs challenges. So she'd start, say, on January 1st, and every day for 100 straight days, you had to work on a Heaven and Earth Designs piece. It had to be the same piece, and it had to be straight every single day for 100 days. Used to be, the original goal, I think, was 100 stitches every day on the same thing for 100 days straight. And if you made it through the entire 100 days on that one piece, you got put into a drawing for a prize. In 2017 was my first try at the 100 Days of Hade. I did it, I think, from August until November, mid-December. Maybe it was July through December. But in 2017 was my first attempt at the 100 Days of Hade. I made it through the 100 Days of Hade, but I wanted to throw away that project. It was a Heaven and Earth Designs project. I wanted to throw away that project by the time I was done with it. 100 days, 100 stitches a day, when the only time I had to work on it was at night, was a pain in the ass. And if I we were traveling back and forth to my in-laws a lot that year, and they lived down in West Virginia. It's about a 2.5-hour drive. I'd have to take my entire tub of floss, because at that time it was my entire tub of floss, with me in that project, and every single day I had to plug away 100 stitches. And I took that thing with me everywhere I went. We went away for the weekend, it went with me because I had to stitch on it every single day. That 100 days, I was, by day 60, I was ready to just chuck it, just throw it out. It was bad. So anyway, they have a couple other different challenges now. They're doing different things. I'm hopefully going to be participating in, they started the 100 Days of Heaven and Earth Designs on Sunday, on day 1. Yeah, I didn't pick up a heaven and earth design pattern. I've only stitched one thing, and it wasn't heaven and earth design. I'm already out of the 100 days. I'm already out. They lowered the minimum stitch count to 50. I'm already out. I haven't even pulled one to even work on. I could work on 4 seasons, for example, get lots of stitching done on it in 100 days. Yeah, not. But for Stitch Talk Hade, they're one of the groups that one stitch, no matter what kind it is one stitch. If you mark it off on your pattern, it's one stitch. Full Coverage Fanatics is another one. They have different prompts and challenges every month. I'm probably going to be doing that. For full coverages, there's quite a few people that every Friday they work on their full coverage project. I have marked that in my planner as something that I kind of want to try and do. It may be where one Friday a month I pick a full coverage piece and work on it. I don't know yet. I don't know where that's going to hit. So we have Stitch Talk Hade and Full Coverage Fanatics. One of the other challenge groups where I'm on a team now, I've kind of been participating in this group for about a year as what's called a colonist. It's a group called Floss in Space. Basically, you're traveling to space and you're on a spaceship. You have different challenges and stuff and different events that happen in the group, and your team has to stitch for different things. Like we were stitching for food, we were stitching for fuel, we were stitching for life sustenance things. We were stitching for supplies, like living supplies, like, toothpaste and toilet paper and food and, stuff like that. I was a colonist. So basically I was not on a team. I was not required to participate in the team events. I could kind of just jump in and say, like, for 2 weeks in a row, I had time to stitch. I could stitch for 5 meals for any team that needed it. So I joined that group to kind of do that. And I was kind of doing that on and off throughout last year. This year, they're doing the Year of Cinema, and they're also doing weekly and monthly prompts. They've asked all the colonists that were colonists up until the end of last year to join a team. So I have joined a team. I'm on ISS Floss Ring, and they're kind of making it a little easier now. They're not doing pop-up events that last a couple of days where the whole team has to participate and you have to crunch 1,000 stitches in a couple of days. They're not doing those quite so much this year, but I am on ISS Floss Ring for Floss in Space. Then there is Magic Stitchdom. Magic Stitchdom is a Facebook group, challenge group that started where they wanted to create the idea that you're building your amusement park. It's based on Disney, the Big D. It's based on the Big D. So like every month they pick a Disney movie. You watch the Disney movie, you stitch on prompts. You collect characters by stitching a certain amount to collect the characters. You can get items to put in your park. You can stitch for rides to put in your park. You can stitch for shops and restaurants and food items and souvenirs and stuff. So you stitch certain amounts, certain given amounts to get all these things to put in your park. My park is called Fraser's Acres of Fun. So I stitched to open my park either late 2021 or early 2022. So my park is open. I haven't really stitched a whole lot to get stuff for my park. We just got over the Christmas event where we got Christmassy things. I only stitched a couple of things in that. But, you kind of participate in that as you are because you're only building your park. So it's a stitching challenge thing for yourself to build your own park. There is Virtual Stitchers. They do, I haven't really been, kind of keeping track on whether or not they're doing any events, but they have a nightly Zoom meeting that you can just pop in and out of as you see fit. I've been in there a couple of times. I was in there a couple of times last year. I got to know quite a few people that I met at StitchCon last year and also Stitching in the Springs. So I've gotten to meet quite a few people that are on Virtual Stitchers. Weekends are usually the more busy times and late in the evening. So sometime after 9 or 10 Eastern time, the Zoom rooms get real busy. So you can join Virtual Stitchers. GaRon Tottenbags, the project bag guys, they have Sunday Zooms, and they also put out their listing for the designer focus. I had the designer focus written down somewhere. I don't even know. Do I have this month's designer focus for January for GaRon? GaRon designer focus this month is the blue flower. Magic Stitchdom, the one where you're stitching for your amusement park items. The movie this month is Ratatouille. Really cute movie. So there's another group for here in Ohio called the Western Pennsylvania and Eastern Ohio Cross Stitchers. They have different stitching events and retreats that kind of go up in the northeast section of Ohio and northwest section of Pennsylvania. They have different events and stuff going on there. Mom and I are on the wait list for the stitching that's happening in March. It's only about not quite 2 hours, 2-hour drive away from here, but we're on the wait list for that for March. So that's a potential. It's a Friday through Sunday thing. And they're, because it's only like a stitching room, they don't have like, you know, to rent the stitching room is only $350. But if they have 60 people, they divide that $350 by 60 people. And it's up to you where you stay, what sleeping arrangements you make and all that, and then food's on your own. So that might be something that my mom and I are going to be looking into going more, is to some of their stitch-ins and groups. They also have stitch-ins, I think, once or twice a month on Saturdays that meet in a couple of different areas up there. We may decide just to take a weekend trip and go up and go to the stitch-in and just kind of hang out together. Soulful Stitching. Soulful Stitching is a group that was started by Melanie Watkins. This month, they are doing something special. They are doing a Just Nan stitch along. Just Nan is a designer who is very well known for their sampler patterns. And so Melanie is doing a Just Nan stitch along, and she's calling it Just Nanuary. I have a Just Nan project in my whip pile. This is the Sugar Plum Violets stocking by Just Nan. I started this probably 20 years ago. This is a long time project of mine. I initially started this to give to my sister-in-law. So when she came over to our house for Christmas, she'd have a really pretty stocking hanging up. So I haven't worked on this in probably a good 5 years or more. This is as far as I've gotten. Working from the top down. So this is one of my goals for January is to work on this. I don't have a set goal for it. I'd just like to get progress made. And I spent this weekend getting the flosses kitted up, because up until this weekend, you know, all my flosses were in one big pile for my whips. So yeah, I've gotten this band across the top, some of the vine coming down and stuff. So I'd like to at least get some of this finished. Or this is on a 32 count, maybe a 28 count. Is this 28 or 32? This is a 28 count. Might be a 32 count. Yep. 32 count. Ooh, it's going on midnight. So Soulful Stitching is doing Just January. And there's other events going on. She also started the 25/7 challenge. So the whole premise with 25/7 is to stitch 25 stitches or 25 minutes, 7 days a week. The whole goal is to see how long you can go doing that. 25 stitches a day or 25 minutes for as long as you can every day. I had thought last year that I was going to get into it when she started it mid-year, and I didn't keep up with it. So I don't know. But anyway, for Just January, I had totally forgot that I also had this rather aged Just Nan pattern that I really, really loved. Back when I first started stitching and first started going to my local needlework shop, I started picking up some Just Nan things. So I picked up this Just Nan pattern. It says, with my needle, I planted these flowers to capture the peace of the stitching hours. And it comes with a little chart pack. It also has a little bit of over-dyed floss. I believe this is a silk floss, but this is a with my needle. Let's see if I can find out what copyright this is. It doesn't say. This has a little bit of overwound stitching in it. Mosaic stitches, cross stitches, small diamond eyelets, Smyrna crosses, triple crossed rice stitch, diamond ray eyelets, has hex beads, has a bunch of different things in it. More Smyrna crosses, crossed rice, back stitch, small diamond eyelets, Italian crosses. So with the Just Nan, so there's a lot of specialty stitches in here, and I've taken one Just Nan class. I did the Snowflower Lace class, really liked it. So you learn all these different stitches for these band samplers like this, and the Just Nan pieces are really, really great. I forgot I have been sitting on this kit for probably quite a few years, probably going on 15 years. And I have most of the silks for it, except for one. Hey, you need to get down. So I don't even know what color of linen this is on. I don't even know what color linen this is. Yeah, I don't know. Because I've had it for so long. But I have the silks, all but 2 colors. So these are Krennic Silk Moires and a Versois silks. But yeah, I have all the silks except for 2. Krennic silks. And I should have more than enough for these. And I also have the DMC pearl cottons. I think there's only 2 colors I think I'm missing out of this entire thing. Oh, but here's some of the stitches in it. So there's like diamond ray eyelets, triple crossed rices, Italian crosses, small diamond eyelets, Smyrna crosses, large diamond eyelets, crossed rices, mosaic, round eyelets. Yeah, those are the stitch diagrams. So you learn specialty stitches when you do these. And they're not hard to do, you know. So yeah, I have this one that's been in my stash for probably years, probably 15 years at least. So for just January, I'll probably also be pulling this out. This is in, hey, up, you're in my project bag, girly. I have these in my GaRon Tottenbags Downton Abbey bag for just January. So there's that. All right. WhipGo. I said I'm in WhipGo. Cross Stitch 25/7. Magical Stitches. Magical Stitches used to be Harry Potter related. It was initially started where you read the books. Read the books of a series, 1 book a month, and you stitch prompts weekly and monthly based on the book you were reading that month. Well, Magical Stitches has evolved a little bit. They're only doing, now this year, they're only doing monthly prompts, which makes it easier on the group administrator, because then she doesn't have to come up with so many different events and, you know, describe everything. So this month for Magical Stitches, we are reading the Jennifer Chiavarini Elm Creek Quilters series. Now, I'm only going to show you a few, but one of the things I got for Christmas, I got the first 10 of 12 books. There are more books in the series than 12, but I got the first 10 of 12 books from Jennifer Chiavarini Elm Creek Quilters. My mom and my husband got together and they each bought 5. So these were some of the things I got for Christmas. So I got 10 of the 12 books that we're reading for the Elm Creek Quilters series. from Jennifer Chiaverini. So I have all the books. We are stitching on book prompts. Hey, get down. Down. Missy and Mouse are being a little curious. So I started reading the first book on New Year's Day. So I'm part of the way through the first book. We're reading the first book. The first book is called The Quilter's Apprentice. So we're reading through that. So that is for Magical Stitches. They're doing the random DMC challenge. The random DMC challenge, she's picked 50 DMC colors, and your goal is to stitch 100 stitches minimum on those colors, starting with the first color and working your way through them all. So I think what I'm going to do, I was trying to figure out, you link a project to it and you stitch 100 stitches in that color in order by the end of the year. I think what I'm going to do is just get a blank piece of fabric, find a 100 stitch motif that I think would be really pretty. Whether it just be a block of 100, just do blocks of 100, and maybe 50. I think 10 rows of 5. Can do 10 rows of 5 in blocks, and do each color, that way. I don't know if I'll probably do them across, but we have 50 floss colors to use, and we'll do 100 stitches in each color and do it that way. And I'll just kind of create a random DMC challenge sampler. I'm kind of really liking that idea. I just was going to try and come up with some sort of pattern or motif that I could stitch, like maybe an arrowhead or something that was 100 stitches. If you have any ideas of what I could do besides just a block or just like a trapezoid or whatever, that's 100 stitches, please let me know, because I would really like to probably use that for the random DMC challenge for Magical Stitches. They're also stitching quilt blocks. So for each quilt block, so we have these quilt blocks, because we're reading a quilt cozy series, we are stitching quilt blocks. So we have this list of all these quilt blocks right here to stitch. There are 50 of them. We have to stitch 500 stitches per block by the end of the year. We pick the project. We have to stitch 500 stitches on one project for each block. It could be the same project for all 50. But yeah, this is a yearly challenge. So here are some of the DMC numbers for the challenge that we have to do. So we have to start with 793, go to 3822, 3828, 839, 372, and 3840. I think she just picked a random number generator to pull these. I don't know. And then we have she does a Magical Stitching Annual Reading Challenge. And here are the different books. So this top section are the 12 books for the year. And then this next section are the rest of the books in the series. So there's 23 books in the series. Oh, there's standalone books. So there's 10 standalone books, 11 standalone books. And then she gives prompts. So for the reading, she's a heavy reader. Read a book with an Amish character. Read a book whose cover shows a patterned background. Read a book whose cover shows a real animal. Post the cover. Blah, 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 blah. So you have these stitching prompts. There are a lot of stitching prompts that you can read throughout the year. It's just a way to get you to read more. 24 through 80 are just book prompts that get you to try and find books that match the prompts to read. So you increase your reading. I had a goal last year of reading some books. So this year, I'll be hopefully reading books, reading more books than I did last year. I did the 10 books for the Magical Stitches, and then 1 or 2 other books kind of interspersed in there. This year, I'm in another craft group that is also doing a cozy mystery set, which is 12 more books. So I have at least 24 books to get through this year. It's going to be a lot for me. It's going to push me, which is really good. So we have Pop Culture Stitching Challenges. That's another Facebook group. They do monthly events. They do acrostics and different things that you can be involved in. This month's acrostic, you take your favorite TV show character, take their name, pick For each letter, you pick a project to stitch that, and you have to do 200 stitches per letter on the acrostic based on your favorite TV show character. You take their name, first and last, or first name if you don't know their last, and you stitch 200 stitches for every letter on a project that matches that letter. And I believe it can only be either the designer name or the pattern title. So yeah, it can't be anything in there starting with that letter. It has to be the designer name or the pattern title. So they have different acrostics every month. The January movie, they gave a list of movies that they really like. And if you can fit your whip to the movie, stitch 200 stitches on that whip to go along with that movie. And you can watch that movie. But there's a list of movies that they picked that they really liked. They're also doing the January Jam session right now, where I believe you pick songs, and based on the length of the song, you stitch that many stitches. So say you have a Depeche Mode song that you really like, and it's 4 minutes and 26 seconds. You have to stitch 426 stitches in order to finish the song and add it to your playlist. They're also doing the ABCs of stitching. So you take ABC, the alphabet, ABC. For each letter, you have to pick 10 items that start with that letter, like apple, aviary, whatever. For each item that you're going to stitch for that letter, you have to stitch 100 stitches. I think it's 100 stitches. And you have to stitch for 10 items starting with every letter of the alphabet. So A, you have 10 A's, 10 B's, 10 C's. So you have, 10, you're stitching 1,000 stitches for every letter. There's 26 letters, 26,000 stitches. Congratulations, you're stitching a hell of a lot. That's Pop Culture Stitching Challenges. And that's a yearly event. There's also traveling stitches. Traveling stitches is really kind of interesting because they were picking a theme kind of thing for every year. And I don't know if they're sticking with that, but the thing they do is they pick like a location in the world, and they give you, like, say, capitals of the United States. You're traveling across the United States. For this capital, you have to stitch X number to see these 3 sightseeing things in this capital, and then you have to stitch 600 stitches to drive to this state capital. And then you have to, so they have different things. So traveling stitches is a, an interesting stitching group. For the yearly challenge, you're walking the Great Wall of China. So you have to stitch those number of stitches to walk the Great Wall of China. For January, their country that they're doing is Iceland. So they post different interesting facts and different links that you can find out more about Iceland, and you stitch various prompts for things based on Iceland. February is Italy, March is Norway, and April is Japan. I think that's all they've got so far. Then there's the Magazine Monthly Challenge Group, which we've already gone over. January is Baringo. They have AB Singo, which is very similar to Baringo in the summer, early fall. But AB Singo it's the ABCs minus 1 letter. They randomly pick a letter every year to exclude from that. And you take your projects, you match your project title or designer name to the letters, and you put those on your board. And those are the projects that you work on. For Baringo, they're prompt based, like your oldest whip, your smallest whip, a whip that matches the season, a whip, whatever. So Baringo is prompt based. AB Singo is name, pattern name, and designer name based. There's Semi-Sane Stitchers. I've been in that group for a little while. If you don't participate at least once every 2 or 3 months, they'll bump you out of the group. I did get bumped out of the group, I think in 2019 or 2020, and I got back in because sometimes, they'll every once in a while they'll open up registration back to get you back in. But they have monthly groups or monthly challenges. They have different events sometimes throughout the year. Like they have a snowball fight going on right now. They do monthly challenges. They have a monthly focus where you stitch on one piece for the month, and every 1,000 stitch increment that you show progress on, you can get entered into a drawing for prizes towards the end of the year. They also do this or that. So every month, it's like January is hot or cold. So you pick a project to either match hot or cold, and then you stitch on it. That one's non-counting, so as long as you show progress by the end of the month, you'll earn a an entry in the end of year prize draws. There's the Stitchy Quest to destroy the One Ring. You are traveling through Lord of the Rings. They're not doing new challenges anymore. It's pretty much over, but you can go through all their past challenges. They have all their past challenges listed. You can start with The Hobbit and go through, the Two Towers, all the Lord of the Rings books and stuff like that, and stitch for different things based on the books. So those are some of the main challenges that I'm in. It's a lot what I'm going to do. I had talked a little bit about doing full coverage Fridays, where either every Friday or say one Friday a month. I have it written down as every Friday in my planner, but I don't know if I'll do every Friday, where I work on a full coverage piece for X number, say 50 stitches on a full coverage piece. I don't know if I want to do that. There's some people out there this year that are doing Wentzler Wednesdays. I kind of forgot what group that actually was for, but I'm sure if you search Wentzler Wednesdays on Facebook, you'll come up with a group that is doing that challenge. So every Wednesday, they work on a Teresa Wentzler piece. Teresa Wentzler is a very well-known older designer who used to do a whole lot of fantasy designs like dragons and knights and ladies in waiting and, castles and stuff like that. But because of religious reasons, she has decided not to do that anymore. So a lot of her old fantasy patterns are very desired and very out of print, and also going for a little bit of a higher price than they probably should. But so her stuff is really hard to find. So there's a group out there that's doing Wentzler Wednesdays, or some of them have even called Teresa Wentzler Tuesdays. I'm thinking about doing maybe a Thomas Kincaid Tuesday once a month. So like 1 week it'll be full coverage Friday. 1 week it'll be Wentzler Wednesday. 1 week it might be Thomas Kincaid Tuesday. I haven't decided yet. Mondays, there's a group called Mill Hill Mondays. So you work on Mill Hill kits every Monday, or a Mill Hill kit every Monday. There's the International Hermit and Stitch Weekend, where 1 weekend a month, they start on a Thursday, and the goal is to stitch. Stay in your jammies and stitch as much as you can that weekend. So January's International Hermit and Stitch Weekend is the 19th through the 22nd. The 24 Hours of Cross Stitch group got started. So a group of real close friends decided that they wanted to get together and do like a virtual sleepover stitching thing. They wanted to stitch starting on Friday at like say 6 o'clock at night, and stitch for 24 hours straight without sleeping as much as they could for 24 hours, no sleep. So they did the first event. Everybody was great. There were some people that said, well, I can't participate for the full 24 hours because I got to sleep. And if I don't sleep, I'm no use and it'll make me sick, blah, 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 blah. So some people were like, of those 24 hours, I might only be stitching 12 or whatever. So initially it started from like 6 p.m. Friday. It's not that this time really, but 6 p.m. Friday to 6 p.m. Saturday. Then they decided, you know what, we can make it the entire weekend. And if you stitch 24 hours in that entire weekend, it's like a big marathon. So they made it the 24 Hours of Cross Stitch Marathon weekends. And it's every quarter. Yes. So the first marathon weekend happens to fall on International Hermit and Stitch Weekend, which is the 20th through the 22nd. So I have yet to track and really actively participate in it, but I just keep track of when the weekends are. So there's that, the 24 Hours of Cross Stitch, and that's hashtag. So if you look here, it's the hashtag 24 Hours of Cross Stitch. All right, so those are just some of my plans going on for retreats this year. Coming up in March is the Stitching in the Springs retreat in Yellow Springs, Ohio. Mom and I are going to that. They're having 2 this year. They're having one also in November, which is the one that Mom and I normally go to, but they're having 2 this year. They're doing one in March. Mom and I are going to that. It is, I wrote it down. All right, let me get out here. Stitching in the Springs. All right, I didn't write it down in here exactly. I don't have it down. I don't have the dates, but the Stitching in the Springs retreat is in March. You can Google Stitching in the Springs retreat and look for the Mills Park Hotel Stitching in the Springs retreat link. That is the link you need to find information out about the Stitching in the Springs retreat. The Spring Stitchin' for the Western PA Eastern Ohio group is coming up in March also. Mom and I are still on the wait list for that. I don't know if we'll get in, but that's also coming in March. In April, my husband and I used to belong to a local board gaming group called Columbus Area Board Game Society, or CABS. They have the Buckeye Game Fest, which is a 4-day, actually it's kind of a week-long board game convention coming up in April. It's the 27th to the 30th. That's called Buckeye Game Fest. Origins Game Fair is coming up in June. Origins Game Fair is the 21st to the 25th. That is an international board game expo that is held here in Columbus, Ohio. It has been here for more than 10 years. It normally has 15 to 20,000 people show up to play board games for like an entire week. So Stitching in the Springs retreat in November is the 3rd to the 5th. So that is what we've got going on. I am not going to StitchCon this year. I did not even put myself on the wait list. StitchCon, I think for me, because it was overwhelming to a degree for me, is going to be about an every 2 or 3 year event. It is a little pricey, and it is the same time right around our Origins Game Fair gaming convention. And it's a lot of chunk of money to throw down to go to a convention. And it was a little overwhelming for me. Over 300 people at the retreat. There's a lot of sensory overload going on. So, yeah, I probably won't be going to StitchCon. I definitely won't be going to StitchCon this year. I may not be going next year either. It may be the next year after that. So we have lots of stuff going on this year. Lots of plans, lots of things to do. That being said, later I will, let me make sure, I'm going to get kind of ready for work tomorrow, so I have to get some of this stuff cleared off my desk. All right, so for I think that is Camp Gotta Stitch. Oh yeah, and I won't be going to Camp Gotta Stitch this year. Camp Gotta Stitch moved the dates for 2023 to June, and it happens to be occurring the same time as the board game convention Origins Game Fair that my husband and I always go to every year. So Mom and I will not be going to Camp Gotta Stitch this year as much as we'd like to. As I said before, for 2023, some of the things I'm thinking about doing for you, a whip parade, video or videos, probably videos, because I have 67, which is going to be 68 when I get the Easter trio started. So I'm going to be doing finishes and FFOs, a cross stitch toolbox video or several, and some punch needle for you. I had a giveaway last video, and I still have the 2 pieces. I'm hopefully going to be getting to the post office tomorrow to ship the pieces. Just to let you know, I still have them here. I still have the 2 pieces. I have not shipped them. I'm not showing them because I have the addresses on the front. I'm not showing them, but I have the 2 pieces to send. And I was going to do another giveaway this week, but I'm going to wait because this video is so long. I'm going to go ahead and wait. This is 2.5 hours. So hopefully you've stuck with me this whole time and you've enjoyed everything that you saw. That is really all I have for you tonight, and I have to get going because I have to shower before work. So I have a stack of stuff over here. Hopefully my whole layout down here is going to change this year. I'm hoping to get an IKEA Calyx shelving system down here to reorganize all this stuff, go through it, pitch some things, and just generally make it a little more organized down here. Get a lot more of my process stuff organized, which will also help me kind of prepare for doing my WIP, FFOs, Stitch Before I Die videos for you and everything like that. So just kind of hopefully you'll be willing to stick around and watch some of my upcoming content. I really hope you do. Like I said, I really like spending time with friends, and if we share an interest, well, why not? So yeah, if I asked you to do anything, or to, if I asked you questions, please give your answers below. Please, if you have any questions for me, please leave your answers below. I will do my best to try and answer them to the best of my ability. If I don't know the answer, I will see if I can find out for you, or at least point you somewhere that you may be able to find what you're looking for. Got lots of stuff. Lots of stuff. Lots of fun stuff. Looking forward to a very exciting 2023 and all that good stuff. So that being said, good night. This is a about a 2 hour and 40 minute video. Sorry, not sorry. It's probably the longest one I've done in a while, but we had a lot of stuff to cover, and I just kind of wanted to get this out there. I've been meaning to do this since Sunday, and well, anyway, it's quite long. So I'm probably not really going to be doing much editing of this video except to add a title page and an exit credits page. But yeah. That being said, that's all I got for you tonight. I'm a little tired. I have to get ready to go to bed and everything like that because I still have to work tomorrow. And luckily it's work from home. But yeah. Anyway, that's all I got. So take care. Keep on keeping on because it's a new year. And, we just need to keep our head up and keep moving forward. I think maybe I'll change my slogan to that. Keep your head up and keep moving forward. All right, that actually sounds pretty good. Keep your head up and keep moving forward. All right, take care. We'll see you next time. And hopefully I'll have some interesting stitching updates for you. All right, take care. Bye now.